hits we play and the more hits we get, urlradio.net. And it's time for another Financial Friday, and I have my financial gurus in the studio again. We have CPA Brian Bloom and also John Dwyer of Solid Rock Financial. How's it going today, guys?
How you doing?
It's great.
It's going great. Thanks for
great.
having us.
Hey, thanks for coming in today. I've posted on Facebook several times about you guys and kind of your approach, and you're kind of, I'm not going to say you're like the rebels of the financial world, but I feel like you're kind of like the rebels of the financial world.
Well, you know what? let me talk about that just today, because we find that most people are inside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And maybe what you're referring to is we often ask people to step outside their comfort zone. And it actually takes them out of their box. And when they get outside of their box, they get uncomfortable. And so we can do one of two things. We can either jump back into the box and keep doing what everyone else has been doing, or we can build a bigger box. And that's what John and I are committed to doing, is help people build a bigger box of understanding, so that even though we might sound like rebels when it comes to finances, we'll help you understand so that you can be outside of the box and actually profit from some of these financial principles that we share.
And I think, to comment on that too, it's in relation to rebels, we're just educating economic truths. I mean, the economics are the economics, and we just help people understand and sort through what's true and how money really works. So it's not a matter of in relation to being rebels. It's just helping people really understand how this all stuff works together.
Well, and I think too, what I've noticed in the financial world, I have noticed that there's kind of people grew up with a certain belief, and they were taught for along certain beliefs, and this is the right way to do things, and things have changed, but it doesn't seem like the information has changed like it should, except until now.
And I like to call that your BS.
Yeah.
Your belief system.
Belief system. Yeah.
And so as Brian was talking, everybody has what we call their own map or their own belief system. And through education and coaching, we just help them come to an understanding. I mean, we don't sit there and tell our clients what to do. We challenge our clients' thinking so they can come to their own conclusions and think for themselves for the first time, usually around finances.
Now, I mean, I did not get here by the design that I had first put out for myself, because frankly, I got to a point in my life where I go, why is my finances not looking like they ought to look?
Right.
And it was 7 or 8 years ago, and I took apart as many financial products as I could find and put them back together. I took apart as many financial strategies as I could find, put them back together to find out why what I was doing wasn't working for myself or my clients. And that's kind of where I got to today, is an understanding that what we've been taught to be true is actually turning out not to be true.
Right.
And we have to do things differently. We have to step outside of that box of common knowledge.
So what are we talking about today, guys?
Well, we've got a question for you.
Okay.
Stacy, do you know what the tallest mountain in the world is?
Mount Everest?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right. Do you know how tall it is?
58 feet.
Okay, well, that's not exactly there. You're not even close.
It's like tens of thousands of feet high, but I don't even know.
29.
That was the best guess that I've ever heard.
It's 29,035 feet.
Okay.
That's way up there. And so we often like to use Mount Everest as an illustration of success and failure, both in scaling Mount Everest, but also scaling our own financial mountains. So let me just go on with a few more statistics about Mount Everest. So between 1921 and 2006, there was just a little bit over 8,000 climbers. Now, of those 8,000, 2,200 actually reached the peak.
Okay.
So one of the questions that I should have asked before we went into some of those statistics is, Stacy, what is the goal of climbing Mount Everest?
Survive.
Survive.
And plant your flag. Because a lot of people die on there.
Good.
Yeah.
Survive and plant your flag, meaning you get to the top.
You get to the top.
Okay, so of the 2,200 that got to the top of 8,000, that means 72% failed.
Yeah.
So that's a big failure rate.
That's a big failure rate.
Now, almost 3% of them failed miserably because they died.
Yeah.
They did not survive. Mm-hmm. And actually 120 of them are still up there.
Is that when they say get rich or die trying?
Yeah. That's exactly right. Now let's focus on those who died, because that represents failure. Okay.
Yeah.
Big time failure.
Yeah.
15% of those died on the way up. So I call those the ones that exerted enough energy, but they weren't smart enough to realize that they were running out of air, they're running out of whatever, and they just kept going, and they were going to get to the top no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, 73% died on the way down. Now, this is split between two groups of people. Some of them realized they were running out of air on the way up, and they turned around.
Right.
But they didn't turn around soon enough, and they died on the way down. But the startling statistic is that 56% of those who died on the way down after they planted their flag.
That's still not a success then,
It's
is it?
not success.
You reached the top, but you died.
Because it was only friends of theirs that could report when they got all the way back down that they actually got to the top.
Right.
Otherwise, we would have never known.
Yeah.
And you see, it's like that in our finances today. If we die after getting to our number, we've seen advertisements. There's been financial firms that say you need to get to your number, and then you can retire, or what that number is. You know, but if your number or your money runs out before you do, that's not good.
That's not good. No. I saw a meme the other day where it said, I could retire, or if I were to retire today, or I could retire today and live comfortably for 11 minutes.
Yeah, those are the people that have to go back to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And so as we, unveil this story in relation to Mount Everest, it's really critical for people to understand that there's two rates. There's the accumulation rate and the distribution rate.
Okay.
And helping people not only get to the accumulation point to the top, but more importantly, what's the distribution and exit strategies as it relates to their money.
Okay.
And so it's how you pre-pack your bags in retirement or saving for retirement that's going to help and understand how that money is going to be distributed to you in retirement. Mm-hmm. And so there are certain financial products that might be great accumulators, but they're terrible distributors.
Oh, I think a lot of people don't think about that.
They don't.
They think about the accumulation. They don't think about the distribution.
And it goes back to, again, traditional planning typically only focuses on the accumulation. However, the only reason why people are saving is for retirement.
Yeah.
So does it not make sense then to understand the distribution and exit strategies as it relates to where you position your assets for distribution, and understanding the end in mind and build backwards versus just focusing on accumulation and not have any understanding of what your distribution is going to look like?
Well, it makes sense. It's kind of like, how can you plan if you don't have your end goal in mind, what your end goal is? How are you going to come up with the steps leading up to it?
Right, but we have to properly define the end goal. Yeah. The end goal is to have our money run out at the same time that we run out of life. Anything short of that doesn't work.
No.
And so that's the end goal. The end goal is not to get to the top. In fact, I would rather get 3/4 of the way up Mount Everest and come back down and have still a little bit of money left over than to have gotten to the top and have more life than I have money.
So then then how do you advise people when they come in? Like, how do you work with them on something like this? Do you give them rock climbing gear? You say, here's some water, here's some rock climbing gear, good luck?
Well, again, it's understanding all the different types of financial assets that there are. And then, like I said, there's some that are better accumulators and some that are better distributors, and making sure there's coordination and integration to their descent off the mountain. Because, we often talk about where those assets are held and the implications of taxes, which we're going to get into in the next radio show that we're going to have in different asset classes and the spendable ability of those assets. So it's just really helping the client understand the distribution piece to those assets.
Well, and where most people are today, it really goes back to packing your bags.
Yeah.
How do you efficiently and most effectively pack your suitcase for the ascent, but also for the descent on that mountain? Mm-hmm. I mean, I went to Australia for 3 weeks. My daughter happened to be there on a study abroad program, and we chose to go over there. But you know what? You can't take 3 weeks of clothing and everything you need and still not have to pay extra with the airlines.
Yeah.
And so we understood how we had to pack those bags. We understood that we had to vacuum, suck air out of some of the clothing so that it would all fit in the vacuum. Mm-hmm. Now, it depends on how long your journey is.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to pack those bags. And today we have financial instruments like qualified plans, like mutual funds, like certificates of deposit. How do we pack those to get to the top so that when we get to the top, when we start to turn those assets in, they don't cause a financial disaster.
Exactly. Very good. So if people want some more information on this, how can they get a hold of you guys?
They can give me a call at 701-223-1000.
Okay. And how about you, Brian?
I'm available right along with John, so
223-1000?
we'll just take that same phone number and they can get a hold of either one of us.
We'll be back with more Financial Friday on urlradio.net.